Hello there guys, welcome back to my channel. And as for the intro, you might have noticed I'm basically just going to go with what I always did on 100% Chelsea, but just replacing the welcome to 100% Chelsea to welcome to my channel basically, because that's just what I've been saying for so long that it just comes out naturally, so it feels like just the best thing to go with. But of course, if you do have any cool intro suggestions that you think would be quite nice, leave them down in the comment section below. I did think about it for quite a bit and I couldn't really come up with anything that I thought, oh, this is decent. So, this is what I'm going to go with. I've decided that for now. But again, if you have any suggestions, do leave them down in the comment section below. But yeah, welcome back to my channel. Sorry, it's been a while because, I could have done the video about Everton and obviously what happened after a bit sooner. But to be honest, after the game on Sunday, it was St. Patrick's Day. So I went out. It turned into a little bit of a madness. So then yesterday, I just wasn't in a state to record a video in all honesty. So here we are on Tuesday. Of course, if you haven't already, if you are new here, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I would massively appreciate that. Let's keep the growth going. Let's hit 2,500 subscribers. Let's hit 3,000. Let's hit 4, 5, whatever. Just let's keep it growing. So if you are new, please do subscribe. Leave a like on this video as well. I would massively appreciate that. But now, not so happy because there is a lot of stuff to talk about. There's a lot of stuff that happened since the Everton game as well, both in the media and just like talk and reports and whatever. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, and I'm not particularly pleased. So starting it off, obviously, with the Everton game, and that wasn't great, was it? Really wasn't great. I mean, the first half I thought was good. The first half I thought was actually very good, except that as usual we didn't score. Sarri said it himself. It was probably or possibly one of the best halves we've played so far around the rim. And I don't think he was particularly wrong with that. We created chances, we played good football, we pressed them, the passing was decent, but we just couldn't score. We hit the woodwork. Pickford made a couple of very, very good saves. We just didn't finish our chances. Pedro had a good chance from an Alonso, cross, low pass, cut back, whatever you want to call it, and he just scuffed it completely. We just didn't score. But then the second half, I mean, that was just an absolute nightmare. An absolute nightmare. I mean, the defending for when Richarlison obviously, obviously he scored the 1-0, and then a penalty. I mean, I don't know what the hell Alonso was doing. Then Kepa saves it, it comes back to Sigurdsson and he scores it. And we basically didn't have a single chance in the second half except for that one Higuain shot that, again, Pickford did well to save. I mean, the second half was shocking. It was all over the place, and yes, it does constantly feel like if we don't take the lead, we're in big trouble. Obviously, against Wolves, we managed to at least get back to a draw. But still, it just doesn't feel like we're going to win a game. And, that hasn't changed. And it's basically the story of our season that we don't take our chances. Because it's not like we don't create enough chances. It's not like we don't shoot enough. Like, we have the second amount of shots in the league so far this season, only behind Man City. And we have one of the most chances created. I think it might be the most or second behind City or whatever. But yet we've scored the least amount of goals within the top 6. So, it tells you a bit, it tells you a lot. And, it isn't a manager on the pitch that's trying to score goals. Yes, chances created and shots don't always mean the same thing. I've said this before. You could shoot from 35 yards and in theory, that's a shot and that's a chance. But it's not quite the same as if you have a tap in from within the 6-yard box. Both of them do go down as a chance in this chance stat though. So, you have to include that into it. But still, we do create plenty of chances to score. But then we just don't. And you can blame a lot of people for that. You can blame Higuain for that. You could blame Morata for that earlier. You could blame Giroud for that when he played. The wingers, Hazard, Pedro, Willian, whoever, Barkley, Kovacic, whoever. There's a lot of people to blame for those things. But it's as simple as that we don't take them and then we, basically pay the big price for that. To me, it's no surprise that we didn't get a great result at Everton. I said it when the squad that went to Kiev was announced that we're going to struggle at Everton. I said that there and then. The fact that we had to take Hazard made absolutely no sense. He didn't even play. What was the point in Hazard going to Kiev? Jorginho played, 20 minutes? What was the point in him going? Those players, those two especially, needed rest. But they, flew out to Kiev for no good reason, in my opinion. And, those are reasons, in my opinion, why, we didn't get a better result. Why did David Luiz have to travel out if he didn't even play? Just have Ampadu on the bench. We were 3-0 up. I mean, have some confidence in ourselves. Do you know what I mean? Yes, better safe than sorry. Yes, we won 5-0 there in the end. We didn't need David Luiz on the bench. We didn't need Hazard on the bench. We didn't need Jorginho on the bench. And then, in my opinion, we would have stood a bigger chance of beating Everton on Sunday, sorry. But we didn't. And to me, the fact that we played so well in the first half, intensity, create chances, and then so bad in the second half, yes, it is a mentality problem as well, but it's also fatigue. And it's not just physical fatigue, it's also mental fatigue. It's over 3 hours to Kiev. It's over 3 hours to come back. They come back really early in the morning on Friday, so like in the middle of the night, basically, and then you're in London for a day. Train a little bit, do recovery obviously after the game, and then you go to Liverpool on Saturday and stay there. So it's not exactly great, is it? It's not exactly great preparation. So I was prepared for not a great result. I didn't expect a second half performance like we showed. And it's frustrating. And yes, you can debate over, why did Alonso play? I don't know if Emerson picked up some sort of injury. I didn't hear anything about it. I don't understand that either. And I'm not saying everything that Sarri does is great. Everything but a lot of things just don't really make sense. Like, there's no good reason why those players, with the ability that they have, they're not Man City. We don't have a squad like Man City, but we still have a better squad than Everton, and we should have done better, and we didn't. And we just gave it away. And we just, in my opinion, the league is now gone. Like, stop caring about top four. It doesn't matter now. Yes, there is, in theory, of course, still a chance. I mean, it's everything but impossible. But, at this rate where we're going, with how we're dropping points at the moment, there's no point. Sod the league and rest players in the league for the Europa League, even if it's against Slavia Prague. I don't care. Don't underestimate Slavia Prague. They kicked out Sevilla, even though Sevilla were horrendous to concede 6 goals over 2 games against Prague. That just shouldn't happen to Sevilla, but it did. So, don't care about the league anymore now. Just win the Europa League, get into the Champions League that way. That's all that really matters. But now, coming to what happened after the Everton game. Now, obviously, there have been reports coming out by Sky Sports and all sorts of places that there have been talks, within the board and even Abramovich and Marina apparently taking place about the future of Maurizio Sarri. That, it is being contemplated whether he should be sacked or, will be sacked this international break now, basically, because obviously, like I said, it's the international break now, so we have a little bit of time, if you will. Now, to me, it's quite frankly ridiculous, especially when I hear the report of the lack of youth, chances that the youth are getting being a consideration for the board while they're not sure if Sarri is the right man to continue with. I'm like, is the board actually serious? Are they serious? Like, that board, let's not forget, are those people that signed David Zappacosta instead of trusting, for example, Olaina. Those are those people that signed Olivier Giroud to basically help Arsenal get Aubameyang and to get rid of Batshuayi, who is a young player, or to use someone like Tammy Abraham. Are they good enough? No. But if you want to use the youth, you can't sign Olivier Giroud, can you now? I mean, that doesn't make any sense, does it? Those are also the guys that signed Danny Drinkwater rather than using Nathaniel Chalobah, who is, in my opinion, an incredibly good player and has just been very, very unfortunate with injuries ever since joining Watford. You signed Ross Barkley instead of trusting in Ruben Loftus-Cheek completely. These are the things that happen at our club. You signed Antonio Rudiger rather than using Andreas Christensen, and now you're annoyed that Christensen isn't playing more. I like Rudiger, and I'm fine with Christensen playing as much as he is right now and not that much more. But if that is your issue, that the youth aren't playing more, well, maybe you shouldn't sign these players then. And also, maybe you shouldn't give a player like Marcos Alonso a 5-year contract, and don't come at me with saying only after Sarri said how great he is, basically, they gave him that contract. Absolute bollocks. Alonso said it himself when he made that interview for the contract. They've been talking about a new contract before we ever even signed Sarri. Before we ever even got Sarri as a manager, was talks between Chelsea and Alonso about contract extension ongoing already. And who are the people that rejected offers for Willian? Huge offers. And those are confirmed offers, by the way. Those aren't just made up stories by the media. Those are confirmed offers that we have rejected for Willian. You can't complain about Hudson-Odoi not playing more if you refuse offers like that for Willian, a 30-year-old player. It doesn't work like that. Yes, you can say, the manager should be using them more, and maybe he should. But as the board, if it is your wish to use the young players more, all you have to do is sell Willian and don't sign a replacement. And then you have Hudson-Odoi, because then he would have to play him. The manager has no other choice. The first team head coach, because that's what Sarri is. Just like Antonio Conte was, first team head coach. No manager, they don't have any say in this. They just have to deal with what they're given. It's as simple as that. And, if you want the youth to be played, well, then you have to sell some of these other players and not sign Christian Pulisic. Yes, he's a young player, but he's not our young player. Signing Christian Pulisic is the reason why Callum Hudson-Odoi wants to leave, because he's like, well, what the hell are these lot doing here? Do they care about me? Do they rate me or not? That's the issue where it's coming from. And then when I see these replacements that we're talking about, first Steve Holland, obviously the assistant of England now, the assistant of Gareth Southgate, and obviously he was assistant at Chelsea for 8 years and a number of managers. Apparently we would try to get him on an interim basis until the end of the season. Try to have him share the job Chelsea and England, basically, which I'm not sure the FA would allow that. I like, Steve Holland. I would love for him to be around the club anymore, because I think it's a big loss, because in Conte's first season, he was still around, we won the league. Second season, when it all went to shit, Steve Holland was gone. So I think he has more to play in that whole situation than people give him credit for. But then the 4 replacements that we're apparently considering after Steve Holland and for the summer are Laurent Blanc. I told you already, I don't rate Laurent Blanc. I don't want Laurent Blanc. I'm not saying he's horrible, but he's not that much different from Sarri. People tell me, he's different. Yes, he is different, but he's not that much different. And does he use youth players a little bit more? Yes, he does. But he's been out of a job for quite a while. He could be different now, for all you know. You don't know that. I don't know that. He could be different. The next replacement we have apparently, or are considering, is Massimiliano Allegri from Juventus Turin. Massimiliano Allegri. Like, are you serious? Are we actually so stupid in the head that we think there is only the slimmest chance that Massimiliano Allegri will leave Juventus to join Chelsea, especially when we have a transfer ban and Hazard is leaving? And I will talk about Hazard in a second as well. It is quite frankly ridiculous. There is no chance. There's no chance in hell that we will get Massimiliano Allegri this summer, no matter what happens. There is no chance. It is not happening. Just accept that. The other options are Nuno. I forgot his full name, but Nuno, the Wolves manager anyway. All right, well, if we want to play 3-4-3 again, go get him. Fair enough, do that. We might as well have kept Conte then, but okay, go get him then. Just recall Victor Moses, play Alonso at wing-back, just give Alonso another 10-year extension, and just play that. Yeah, great. Very much looking forward to it. You know, buzzing with that idea. And then the last option is John Terry, apparently, which I'm not sure about. Why is John Terry considered than Frank Lampard isn't? I'm not saying he's any worse or better than Frank Lampard, but Frank Lampard at least has a season now of actually experience of being a first-team manager, you know, which John Terry hasn't. You know, he's assistant at Villa, which fair play, you know, and he's doing a pretty decent job there from what I know. I mean, you never know for sure how much the assistant actually does. That depends on the manager, you know, in charge ahead of him, how much, you know, how many responsibilities the assistant is given. But I'm not sure that would be a great idea. To me, anyone that comes in now, just like it was last summer with Sarri, as we're seeing right now, is just ruining their career. That's just what Chelsea is right now. And there needs to be some serious change with how the club is run. There needs to be some serious change. And I'll come to that as well. Now I'll come to the Hazard comments that he's made. Because as usual, when the Belgians go on international duty, they like to talk to the media. And to HNL, you know, Belgian news publication, he was basically asked the question of, all right, if I had a friend that, you know, liked you in a sense, I'm paraphrasing here, they liked you in a sense, should he buy a blue shirt or a white shirt? And Hazard basically replied, maybe you should buy a white shirt. You know, he's definitely not talking about the Chelsea away shirt, is he? He's talking about Real Madrid. Zidane is back there. I said it the second Zidane was signed. Hazard is gone. And, you know, even the most optimistic of Chelsea fans, especially after that comment, should just accept that. Yes, there is always a chance that Chelsea just refuse to sell him and are, you know, happy to sell him or let him leave for a free the summer after. But I just don't see it happening. Look at how Chelsea is run. It's always financial based. It's always financial thinking always comes first. So we're not going to let Hazard go for free if we can make 100 million out of him, which we're trying to do. But yeah, Hazard is gone, so just accept that. You know, the transfer ban, obviously there is some light has been shed on that situation right now. Apparently the FIFA want to find a decision on our appeal before the summer. So in time that if that decision comes out positive for us, we could still sign players. And apparently even early enough that if the decision even goes against us, we can still go to the CAS, which I forgot what it's short for, but you know, just basically a sporting law in this sporting court in a sense, and we could basically work with them to appeal that decision by the FIFA again, the decision by the FIFA to reject our appeal, if you will. So that could also happen before the summer. We'll have to wait and see. I very much doubted that we're going to be found not guilty, both by the FIFA and then by the, you know, CAS. So you know, just accept that we're going to have that transfer ban. The only thing I could imagine or did imagine before obviously this recent, you know, change of events happened is that we could have the summer to sign players while FIFA kind of still working on our appeal, you know, deciding whether that is going to be accepted or not, because that usually took 6 to 8 months with the other clubs that have been in that situation before, which would have ended after the summer. So, but you know, the other clubs basically had their ban uplifted while that investigation was still ongoing. For us, that was different. And, you know, we're also working against that as Chelsea. So let's just accept the transfer ban while Hazard is leaving as well, unless we force him to stay. Then you have these talks and reports about, again, Jim Ratcliffe, obviously the British billionaire, wanting to sign Chelsea, wanting to buy Chelsea Football Club. Like there was already reports about that. Was it last summer? Something like that. And there was obviously talk about him as well. Apparently that's also some sort of sheikh in the discussion as well that wants to buy the club. It's still, the official statement is that Chelsea is not for sale. And I don't necessarily want Roman Abramovich to sell Chelsea Football Club. I don't want that to happen at all, because Roman Abramovich has done everything for us. You know, everything that we've achieved since 2003 has largely been down to Roman Abramovich and his money. It's as simple as that. That doesn't mean we weren't something before. It doesn't mean that we didn't have Ruud Gullit or Glenn Hoddle or, you know, these sort of players, George Weah or whoever, and won the Cup Winners' Cup and won the FA Cup and the League Cup and won things before Roman Abramovich was in charge, you know, in the 90s and stuff. But it still wasn't quite as good as it has been since then, let's be honest. But, you know, just because I don't want Roman Abramovich to sell the club doesn't mean that I don't want him to change. Just because I want Maurizio Sarri to be at Chelsea doesn't mean that I want him to play Emerson instead of Alonso. You know, I can do one thing and not want the other, if that makes sense. And Roman Abramovich, in my opinion, has to change a few things. And I do understand that he's in a tricky situation with not, you know, being permitted a work visa into the UK, obviously after the whole Russia Spygate situation. And I understand that it's an issue, and obviously he pulled the plug on the stadium for the time being at least. So, you know, those are things that aren't great for us. But things need to change. I mean, I'm not going to say he doesn't spend enough money, because we spent 70 million on Kepa, we spent 57 million on Jorginho, which included Sarri as well. But, you know, we need a squad revamp, a proper one, especially when changing from someone like Conte and previously to that Jose Mourinho to Maurizio Sarri. It's not as simple as Sarri got one player, actually. One. I mean, Jorginho, that's all he really got. Kepa, yes, we got him, but we only really got Kepa because Courtois left. You know, that's why we signed someone else. You know, also we wanted Alisa, so it's not like Kepa was like Sarri was like, I want Kepa. You know, do you know what I mean? So that's what that is. And then Kovacic you got on loan, which especially with the transfer ban now, we can't sign Kovacic in the summer. And then we got Higuain 6 months after Sarri actually wanted Higuain. And then we also only got him on loan. So those are only kind of half signings. You know, those don't really count. And if you want to change everything as drastically as trying to get Sarri in, an attacking style of manager, you know, as drastic as that is, you know, you're going to need to give him a little bit more than that. And, you know, about Marina Granovskaya, I think Marina Granovskaya is a lot of the time slightly scapegoated, because I don't think she makes as many decisions by herself as some people think she does. This is a big business. This is a lot of money. This is a lot of Roman Abramovich's money. I don't think any big decisions are made by Marina Granovskaya without her consulting Roman Abramovich about this. That's why I think it's very easy to scapegoat Marina Granovskaya, and I do think that Abramovich has made a big mistake by not hiring a director of football and by putting her in charge of the whole thing. But, you know, still big decisions of who we sign and how much we're willing to spend on a certain player, those decisions aren't made without Roman Abramovich, you know, agreeing to that decision. Don't kid yourself, that is not the situation. Whether he's in England, whether he's in Israel, whether he's in Russia, doesn't matter. He is part of that decision making. Don't kid yourself, it's not all Marina. That doesn't mean we don't need a director of football badly. That doesn't mean we've not needed one since Emanalo left. But, you know, that's the situation. It's bad. We need a director of football, whether that's, you know, Campos or, you know, whoever it is. It doesn't really matter. Just get someone in. We need a director of football. We need someone with more football knowledge. But again, we also have scouts. You know, it's not like Marina comes around and is like, I think Danny Drinkwater is a great player, we should sign him. We have scouts that tell her these things. You know, maybe you should look at the scouting system as well. I mean, Danny Drinkwater was also for the homegrown quota, but you could sign different English players if it was just for the homegrown quota. You didn't necessarily need to sign someone for 35 to 40 million. That wasn't necessary. So, you know, it is bloody unbelievable, quite frankly. It is bloody unbelievable. And yes, if Abramovich doesn't change those things, maybe it is better for him to sell the club, because at this stage, how things are being run at the moment and how things are going, Chelsea are not going to be a footballing giant anymore, like ever again, if things don't change. It is all a bit of a nightmare, but if Abramovich doesn't change things and how they're run, and I do understand his personal problems, and those are serious problems, and that they affect how things are run, I do understand that. But it's been a bit of an issue for quite a while now, and if he doesn't want to change that, then maybe he should sell it. I don't really want him to sell it to Jim Ratcliffe, because yes, he's English, but I'm pretty sure he's a Man United fan. So not really a fan of him selling to him as well. If we want to compete with Man City and PSG and them lot, maybe we should get a Shaykh as well. But I still think Roman Abramovich is the right man for the job. He just needs to change a few things. Whether he will or not, we'll have to wait and see. But it's as simple as, while Roman Abramovich owns this club, Marina Granovskaya is not going anywhere. That's why, in my opinion, starting a Marina out brigade is not going to do anything. I mean, she's been working for him and with him for decades. Decades. He's not going to get rid of her, except that. That doesn't mean that he can't bring in a director of football, but he's not going to get rid of Marina Granovskaya. Let's see whether Sarri obviously stays in charge of the club after the international break or not. If not, I will talk about it. You know, if we get Steve Holland in, what do we do after? I will lose any sort of trust, because, like I said, I thought getting Sarri in was the kind of reset button we needed, or that, you know, we finally changed something in the club, in the idea of the club. But it clearly hasn't, unless obviously all the reports are wrong and there's actually no debate about sacking Sarri right now, because I just don't think there's much point. There's no replacements out there. We have a transfer ban, unless that obviously changes, but for the time being, we have a transfer ban. No manager, no good, really good manager will come in and say, you have a transfer ban, you have these players that are, you know, not really good enough to challenge for anything serious. Well, I'll still take over, because why not? I'd love to ruin my career as well, because that's what so many others have done here already. So I don't think many would do that. So sacking Sarri would just be continuing the cycle of death and horror. You know, that's what we do. I mean, I don't know how long I've been going on for, but yeah, there was a lot of things to say. Everton wasn't great. Obviously, it's an international break now. Let's hope we don't pick up any injuries. And let's just focus on the Europa League. I don't think there is much hope in, or much point in, focusing on top four now anymore. It's basically gone. We made too many mistakes. But yeah, to be honest, that is really it from me. Leave me all of your thoughts on everything that I said down in the comment section below. Like I said in the beginning, please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I would massively appreciate that. You know, like I said, leave me all of your thoughts in the comments. Of course, leave a like on this video if you did enjoy it, but up the Chelsea, because it's upwards and onwards no matter what happens. But yeah, I'll see you when I see you.